It's been a massive fortnight for car news. Performance is a hybrid doing 2,000 kilometers per fill. BYD taking on Toyota GR and Hyundai N. Subaru resurrecting the WRX STI. And a couple of weeks ago, we delved into the new Nissan Navara, which is pretty much a Mitsubishi Triton Ute. And that story has now evolved to become quite the family feud. But let's start with the fact that a supercar super pile-up happened in Melbourne last week.
It's hectic.
Multiple supercars got absolutely poleaxed on Melbourne's Balti Bridge during rush hour, turning millions of dollars of exotica into twisted metal. Okay, so the new Nissan Navara and Mitsubishi Triton share a lot of DNA. Simply put, they share the same platform architecture underneath to which everything else is pinned onto. But when it comes to the lucrative Warrior program, Nissan has slammed the door shut. Steve Coughlin, Nissan Oceania's comms boss, told us, and I quote, "While Nissan and Mitsubishi continue to collaborate across the alliance where it makes sense, sharing the Warrior program isn't something we're currently exploring." Translation, you can share platforms, you can share engineering, but you can't share our performance sub-brand. That means, for now, no locally developed performance parts for the Triton, even though fans were hoping for a Prem car prepped Triton Rally Art tough truck. Nissan says no. Now, the Warrior badge has delivered almost 13,000 sales since it was introduced in 2019, and Warrior vehicles have been a sellout success. For Nissan, they're very well liked. So, Nissan has its Warrior, Ford has the Ranger Raptor, Isuzu has the D-Max Blade, and Mitsubishi has diddly squat. Mitsubishi previously worked with Walkinshaw on its Triton Extreme, all of which found homes. They sold them all. So the Warrior sub-brand will continue on the new generation Nissan Navara, which is coming out in Australia in the next couple of months. I think there's a national media launch for it happening in March. But the Ute it shares genetic code with, the Ute it's actually based on, the Mitsubishi Triton, will get none of the tough truck Prem car developed add-ons. Mitsubishi has been crying out for a Triton tough truck for quite some time, and I think it will get one eventually, because the Triton is here for the long game. Speaking of the long game, Chery just detailed its 6th generation Super Hybrid system, and the claim is almost absurd. The Chinese brand reckons it can travel up to 2,000 kilometers without needing to recharge or refuel. That's like Sydney to Melbourne, twice, and a little bit more. Fuel consumption is rated at 3 litres per 100 kilometres. The system uses a new petrol engine with impressive thermal efficiency. It's got an in-house developed Rhino LFP battery pack, about 19 kilowatt hours, something like that. And there's also a high-speed disconnect system that can shut everything down in milliseconds. So those who are worried about battery fires might not be so worried. Chery's global engineering team reckons, and I quote, "The system is designed to deliver electric-like smoothness while avoiding some of the compromise commonly associated with plug-in hybrid vehicles." This means the Super Hybrid system can retain the efficiency levels and refinement levels, the smoothness of its powertrain, whether you charge it up or not. If this claim holds water, it addresses one of the biggest criticisms leveled at modern-day plug-in hybrids. Indeed, this could completely change the hybrid game, and we'll be sure to test Chery's claims when we drive these new super hybrids, which are expected to arrive in the next 12 to 24 months. For every Subaru fan currently losing their mind over the axing of the WRX STI, put the pitchforks down. I got up close and personal with the latest WRX STI concept in Japan late last year, and to me, it looked very, very production ready. There's all this talk about turning it into an EV, but I don't think that's going to happen. The concept clearly displayed a combustion engine, but no one at Subaru would confirm if the WRX STI would be resurrected. Subaru Australia boss Scott Lawrence recently made my day, drawing a line in the sand, and I quote, "STI is absolutely not dead, and you would have seen a whole bunch of announcements and concepts from Subaru Corporation. There is a lot of work going on for the future of that." Okay, so he didn't officially confirm the WRX STI is making a comeback, but look at all the evidence. I mean, come on, it's got to happen. Do you think Subaru needs to pivot to electrification to keep its icons alive? I'd love to see you guys discuss in the comments how you think the WRX STI could survive using turbo petrol power. And Subaru is not done. It's also been talking up the idea of a new dual cab ute or pickup truck or bakkie, but not a ladder frame workhorse like the Toyota Hilux, for example. Scott Lawrence again, and I quote, "I think there is space for a monocoque style ute. Nothing to share at this point, but yeah, there's a few irons in the fire." So while this vehicle is unlikely to be a Ford Ranger Super Duty, a bona fide bush basher, something that can work on mine sites, it should be good to, haul surfboards and light loads and do a bit of towing. And there's a precedent, the old Brumby, of course, but more recently, our American viewers might remember the Subaru Baja pickup truck. Ugly as sin, but it had its fans. There are also whispers of a compact electric ute being co-developed with Toyota. And if that happens, the Brumby conversation starts to get very, very real. And the last news story is really going to polarize you guys. Mercedes has AMG, BMW has M, Toyota has GR, and now BYD is going to have some acronym you're probably supposed to care about. It's true. BYD is actively lobbying Xi Jinping himself for a high-performance sub-brand. This isn't some idle fancy. I'm talking about a proper racetrack-ready product portfolio that would really build the brand as a serious competitor to the world's biggest car makers. And if anyone has the resource to do it, it's BYD with its 12 quillion engineers or whatever it is. BYD Australia's Chief Product Officer, Sajid Hassan, told us that performance cars are a top priority. And I quote, "We're not about sticker packs and wheels. If we do a performance grade, it's going to be credible and authentic." Them's fighting words. Potential candidates? We're not quite sure, but I reckon the Seal 06 GT hot hatch has surely got to be on the list. But while BYD is fighting over driver engagement, Tesla is heading towards the exit. Elon Musk recently signaled that the Model S and Model X vehicles are essentially legacy projects now. Put them in the bin. Well, maybe not the bin, but production has instead been diverted to produce the Optimus robots. And I don't know if you've seen them online, but they are interesting. Skynet. It's going to happen. This will be the start. But there is some positive news from the EV-only brand. The second-gen Tesla Roadster is apparently all systems go. After a decade of delays, new US trademarks suggest the Roadster's reveal will occur in April 2026. Musk is calling it the last of the human-driven cars, and back in 2024, his latest advice was that it would accelerate from 0 to 60 miles an hour, which is almost 0 to 100, in less than 1 second flat. And I'm sure there's some physicists out there that suggest this can't work with current tyres and weight and stuff. So will it get that air boost system, that rocket-propelled system? I'm intrigued. So do you want a BYD performance sub-brand with soul, or the fastest and last gasp of the human-driven Tesla era? There's tons of news out there in the car world right now, and if you missed it last week, check out our video on who might just save the iconic all-American Jeep brand. It's super interesting.